March 18th, Mike Tyson Razor Ruddock dies. If he doesn't die, it doesn't count. If he's not dead, it doesn't count.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Ryan and this is Ade, and welcome back to another edition of Boxtalk. Boxing is a serious business, and as much as we look at the fights, there's lots of stuff going on behind the scenes. Contracts, money, backroom deals, all sorts of dodgy dodgy stories. We've all heard the stuff back in the day about Don King, he done this. We've heard about De La Hoya giving Pacquiao a bag of money to move from Bob Arum. Boxing can be shady. But there's an issue in boxing right now with Andre Ward and Dan Goossen, and it asks as many questions, and there's still a lot of grey areas. Ade, what's going on?
How do we clear this one up? You know, it's going to be very hard to clear this one up, especially in 10 minutes or so, because there's almost as life two stories to every, two sides to every story. I've heard Andre Ward's one. I've seen interviews of Andre Ward. We've not yet heard Dan Goossen. Dan Goossen hasn't really. He's left a few feeders, but I haven't seen the sit-down interview with Dan Goossen explaining his side of it yet. I've read all the things from the court, and for me, reading it, forget my love of Andre Ward and whatever. Just for me, reading it, it just seems like a very basic example of someone signing a contract earlier in their career, not reading the contract through properly. They've now got to a level where they're a bit bigger and then wanting out of the contract. It happens in sports every day. Footballers do it all the time. Everyone does it. Everyone tries to renegotiate their contract, but rather than renegotiate, it seems like someone just wants out of the contract. Obviously, that person being Andre Ward.
I think before we go into the fight in detail, let's go for something about boxing contracts in general. Normally, you sign a contract with a boxer, the promoter wants to tie you in long term.
Of course.
Now, apparently, the Dan Goossen contract was 10 years, which was ridiculous under any circumstances. That's not me being bad to Dan Goossen, but no one in the right will sign a 10-year contract for anything in sports. But in boxing, when you have an injury, your contract is extended because you are not actively fighting.
It basically stops.
It stops. When things are going on, like legal issues, your contract is extended. Contracts normally have a negotiating, a matching deal where if another promoter wants your current promoter has a right to match you, to take you off. There's so much little things in contracts with boxing, whereas it's not very easy to get out of it once you want to get out of it. And that's for the small guys and for the big guys. It has a lot of loose ends. Also, a big thing with contracts as well, when your contract's running out, a promoter will offer you a lot of money for the next fight for a 2-fight extension under current contract. Which means if you don't take it, you don't get a big payday.
I.e. Bradley Pacquiao.
I.e. GGG and Chavez. They offered Chavez something like 8 million with a 2-fight extension. And if he didn't sign that, there was a 2 million fight. So that's definitely if you make it 8 mil and 2 mil. So contracts are very, very complicated in boxing.
They are. The biggest complication, especially for boxers, more than any other sport really, is the length of the contracts. Remember, boxers only fight once or twice a year. So when
the top guys,
exactly. So when an Andre Ward gets a 7-year contract thrown at him, although it sounds extremely long, and it is extremely long, really that's trying to tie someone down to 14 fights. Do you know what I mean? Because he's only fighting twice a year. But another thing that affects the contract as well is a fighter knowing his or her worth. Andre Ward is in a position where, yes, he is recognised by most as the best boxer, the second best boxer in the world behind Floyd Mayweather. That doesn't relate to your worth.
That definitely doesn't.
That's the problem. I mean, Carl Froch is not in most people's eyes, not even in the top 10 pound for pound. Carl Froch is worth a hell of a lot more than Andre Ward.
If you want to see the value of Andre Ward, check out his unification with Chad Dawson. And look at the numbers, the gate, the attendance, and it shows you that it was not very great for business. I mean, honestly, if you feel hard done by a contract, you need to look at it and go about things the right way. What I think probably what Andre Ward has made is that he's got too much people within his contract. He's also got a co-promoter from who he's brought in to help. And they had the arbitration issue a few years ago, and he's kind of now stuck in it. He's got a manager, James Prince. And these people are all not on the same page. It's all good having a team. It's all good having a team saying, I want these guys in my team. But the part of a team is to be together. It's no use having a team where one guy's on this side, one guy's here, another guy's here, and they're all pulling strings at different areas. That's not going to help your team.
One thing that was very clear in reading the court notes was that although they are in a dispute, an argument, whatever. They both still say they've got respect for each other, blah, blah, blah. Andre Ward can still fight.
Yeah.
That's what was clear.
Yeah.
And for fans, we're almost like, we were assuming that he's in this problem right now, he can't fight.
Yeah.
But he can still fight. Yeah. And even before all this contract stuff came out, one thing we've always been critical of Andre Ward is like, does he want to fight or not? Like, he almost makes himself seem as though I'm the A side 110% when you're really not in terms of the money table. In terms of fighting skills, you are. But when you're fighting Chavez Jr., when you're fighting Froch, when you're fighting whoever, you're not the A side because you don't bring that to the table.
We mentioned in previous videos from when we first started Boxtalk that Andre Ward's, as much as we like him and such as he's skillful,
fantastic.
He does shoot himself in the foot sometimes, where he kind of shut out the whole UK side and calling him Froch goes a domestic match.
Yeah. He
didn't want to come over here for a reason why. It's like, you got to go where the money is. And that's hard to sell. In the whole Super 6, he never left his hometown. And that was an issue for Goossen on the negotiating table and promoting because it was such a hard sell. It was like, I'm not leaving. Everyone has to leave their country and fight someone else except Andre Ward. And then times Andre Ward just coming up. That situation put Andre Ward ego, not in a negative way, ego in a fair mind saying, look, even when I'm fresh, I could control the negotiating tactics.
Yeah, Andre Ward is pointed out to a number of boxers. He's named a number of boxers and says they've been through the similar situation I've been in. He's talked about Bernard Hopkins with Dan Goossen as well. I think it was a few years ago. I think Goossen was part of it.
Yeah. I think Hopkins has suited everyone.
Yeah, okay, that's suited everyone. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah. Talked about Floyd Mayweather and also talks about Roy Jones Jr. And I feel like if you're a boxing casual fan,
you're using names.
You're using names.
You're not using substance.
This is it.
Yeah.
So when he started doing that, I was like, yeah, no, he should defend himself, blah blah blah. Because I was thinking, wait, those guys went through the same thing. Look at, they've come out the other side and it's fine. And I don't know if we're getting the true story from Andre Ward.
Yeah.
I think it's just a very simple case. And again, this is from reading the court stuff. This isn't from going on YouTube, and this is from reading the court notes, which are available. I'll leave them under the comment section. It just seems as though we have someone here that signed a contract and he wants out.
Yeah.
That's the very basics of it. He wants out of the contract. He thinks he's worth X amount of money, and I generally don't think he is. As good as a boxer he is, I don't think he's worth what he thinks he is.
You mentioned before Andre Ward saying that he's not fighting right now, and Andre Ward saying he wants to fight. If I was his promoter, Dan Goossen, I wouldn't give him a fight either. If you're suing me and trying to break our contract or break our deal and try to go away, why do you any favours? Why would I put money into you and invest in you while you're suing me for what I have? I mean, like, you can't cry when you're actually part of the issue. You know what I mean? You're crying saying you ain't getting a fight, you're not getting this, you're not getting that. But you're trying to leave the guy. So why would anyone invest in you to do anything for you when you're not on good terms?
The funny thing is, I mean, they mentioned, he said that Dan Goossen offered him Mikael Kessler fight. Yeah. They said the numbers weren't right, so that didn't happen. There seems to always be excuses coming out of his mouth in terms of why first fights weren't happening. They said they offered him a James DeGale fight, Sakio Bika rematch, and a few others. And he said these are steps back. Yeah. See, that's the problem for me. Don't get me wrong, I get the fact that they're not on your level, but when you say they're steps back, you're considered the pound for pound best in your division. Every fight really is going to be a step back from you.
If they're top 10 ranked,
what's the problem?
How can it be a step back? What's the problem? That means in theory, if you're number one and number two is a step back. Yeah. But he didn't want to fight Carl Froch. Or he said it's not. Froch has to come to him basically. Yeah, why? But like, it's not a step back. You're making the gap between 1 and 2 so huge. It might be huge in skill, but in boxing as a business, you gotta be comparable with your peers. Yeah. If no one's good enough for you, and it's not worth
why stay in the sport?
Exactly.
Why stay in the sport? Go to 175 and try and fight them monsters.
Let's move over to Dan Goossen. Dan Goossen, as much as I understand his side, I don't think he's such an innocent part in this overall either.
Of course not.
It takes 2 to tango.
It does.
Even though he's shown things to the courts to show that his books are so-called correct, we all heard about dodgy books. Yeah. Wouldn't it have been easier for him to bring Andre Wood and say, Andre, look, here's the books, here's what you made, here's what I took out. Yeah. If you're not happy with this, come and negotiate here one-to-one as promoter-fighter and resolve it. A lot of promotional contracts are not actually dealt in through, like I said, that solicitor arbitration type thing where you sit in the office with a neutral solicitor and they kind of talk, what do they call it in America?
I can't remember. What I know you're talking about, where there's someone in the middle. Yeah.
And they try to get like a middle ground on what's going on, and then they write a check and say, here's what you owe him, here's what you owe him, you deduct it, and that's the figure.
Yeah. Look, Dan Goossen, in a sport that is extremely shady, Dan Dan Goossen doesn't get much stick from boxers.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been around with a lot of boxers, and he's not the name that you hear. I mean, look, no one. The way people destroy Don King, the way they've destroyed Bob Arum. I mean, it's live on TV. You can find all the interviews. You don't see many fighters really go hard on Dan Goossen, and that's not trying to defend him. I mean, look, this is gonna sound stupid, but it's almost like I almost expect every promoter to be a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, boxing, all of those things. I don't expect promoters, and I expect them to be a bit dodgy because initially promoters lose out on a lot of money as well. They take a few hits. So almost, and Dan Goossen isn't a huge promoter. I mean, he's not in the top 3 promoters in America at the moment.
Listen, if you're in a room of criminals and someone dips your pockets, you have to dip back.
Yeah, dip back a bit. Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't mean you're a crook. It just means you understand the game you're playing.
That's it.
And the thing about it is like, this whole 10-year contract I think is ridiculous, but Dan used his experience in the game to, in a sense, kind of con Ward into the 10-year contract. You know, you've got a young guy who's relatively fresh, coming out of the Olympics, a gold medalist.
Not much money.
An honest guy in the terms of his religion and, you know, what he thinks of his family, where he lives his life. And say, guess what? I'm going to tie this guy for a 10-year contract. Because this guy's so humble, so nice, so quiet, it's cool. He didn't realise, or he didn't suspect, Ward would have grown into such a tremendous fighter overall. Yeah. And I think that's not an underestimation, but who would have thought Floyd Mayweather would have been such a great fighter? Who would have thought Hopkins would have been such a great fighter? Yeah. On the first day, you're just a fighter I'm going to take forward and try and make some money. That's how it all starts, and then things grow further. That 10-year contract is a big mistake on Goossen, and I think he will learn from that mistake. Yeah, look,
summarising, and almost in closing here, there's a couple of things that we need to look at. Ward has lost 3 of these battles now. He's lost 3 of them. Ward is a boxer, and that's what almost puts food on the table. Do you know what I mean? Almost like 2-3 years of his career. Yeah, he's lost. He has lost. Yeah, exactly. Since, I mean, his last big win was the Froch fight. Do you know what I mean? Every fight after that's been just, you know, whatever fight. Froch has moved on immensely since then. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. With Froch, everyone knows Froch isn't a better boxer, but in terms of what Froch brings to the table now, in terms of money, he now destroys Andre Ward easily. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's a boxer that's lost. Sometimes you almost have to lick your wounds and think, you know what, I'm signed to this contract. Let me make as much money as possible in my best years. You know, it's that Hopkins thing again, you know. Not everyone can fight till they're 49 years old. Exactly. Even a Mayweather 37 and Pacquiao 37. Not everyone can do that. Most people, as athletes, you almost start going downhill at 32, 33. As it stands right now, all this time he's not been fighting, going through this legal issue, has added on to that 10-year contract. That's what's happening. So when you turn pro in 2004, and his contract will end maybe this year or last year, next year, depending on the injuries and time out, it's mostly dragged on now for another 2-3 years. Oh, they said now, the court is, again, I'll put it underneath there, they said it's now signed until April 2016. Yeah, well, there you go. I'm not saying he should have sat down, but he could have been out of the contract relatively now. But for all that he's gone through, it's not done that for him. What I will say is that he's in a bad situation now. Yeah. Because Goossen knows he's won 3 in a row. Yeah. Yeah. Goossen feel like, well, my case is rock solid. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. I've got you tied to a contract, and I'm also suing you for defamation. What they call it in America, defamation for £10 million. Yeah. For hurting his name. For hurting them, hurting his contract, hurting his deal. Ward's in a bad situation now, and when you go through certain issues, you have bad blood. The damage is done now. Those 2 can never be friends or partners no more. If they go forward with business, it's only going to go downhill because Goossen might not want to do his best and Moore might not want to do his best. And like we said, the camps are all pulled apart. My best bet right now is for both of them to suck in the ego, get into a room and thrash it out. End the contract amicably between both of you. Goossen said Goossen's lost money, you say you're owed money. You might as well call it a day because at the end of the day, I don't think no one's going to make money in this situation for the next 3 years. Yeah, Andre Ward just needs to get in the ring and fight. Just get in the ring and fight. Your skills are your skills. And don't be fooled and think that your skills as a boxer, being the pound-for-pound number 2 boxer in the world, is going to bring money into the table. It doesn't work like that. Rigondo's that situation as well, where Rigondo is as skilled, even probably more skilled, and he's struggling. Just fight. That's what you are. You're a boxer. Just fight. Last thing I want to say, then I'm totally done with this. Let's say, for example, Ward lost his first fight coming back. Yeah, for whatever reason why, he slipped and twisted his ankle, lost the fight. And now his money's going to go down straight away. After all these 2-3 years up and down, who would he blame?
himself for not fighting and staying fresh and staying young, or would he just say, oh, that's part of the business? I mean, he's lost his prime years right now. You can't get those years back. If he has one slip up, that could be the difference between being a Hall of Famer and making serious money, or going backwards or just staying at that plateau.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, loads of bits in there. We've definitely run over time on this one, so apologies. But loads of different bits, and it is awkward. It's a tough situation, and you can tell as we're trying to get into it, we kind of went left and right a bit because it's that kind of situation. Andre Ward, we like. He's a boxer. Sometimes you just want to see a boxer fight and let your legal people handle all the business almost as you're still fighting. Let them kind of deal with it all. But Andre Ward seems to be almost consumed, Hopkins-esque. But when Hopkins was going for it, I think people forget he was still fighting. That's the difference. Ward has stopped fighting in his best years. What does he do next? We don't know. Look, all I want to do and see is get in the ring. He's definitely not going to get in the ring in 2014. So we're talking about 2015 comeback. Not many people out there to fight either. Email us at
boxtalk@hotmail.co.uk, and don't get to follow us on Twitter at boxtalkuk.
Also, guys, don't forget to subscribe and also check out ringnews24.com as well for all your latest news on boxing and our videos as well. Thanks a lot.